Okay, so what we're going to do is going to go through some of the footwork here. That's very important. So what we do is we're going to draw a line from the outside edge of the rubber just to kind of show a positive or negative step. So as a right-hander, I'll come into a set position. My back foot must disengage first. Okay, so what I mean by that is this foot, my back foot, needs to come off the rubber first before I can pick the first base. So as I come set, this foot comes out, and a little slight turn in so I can open up and throw to first base. Okay, why I put that line there, because quite a few pitchers, especially young ones I see and the older ones I do see, is that they start to step out to come over to first base, and that's what we call a negative step, because you're taking part of your body momentum and carrying yourself out towards third base and then back towards first. Okay, and it just takes that slight second longer to get you over first base, and it really spreads out your base on your pick. So some guys really get too wide, and that forces them or lessens the chance that their hips get through and they can get to first base accurately. What we're going to do is we're going to start off at first base, and the first thing we want to talk about is how we hold runners. The pickoff is really not the only way to hold a runner here, and especially as a right-hander, getting pickoffs is really not the main objective. Picking somebody off at first base is really kind of a bonus out of the whole thing. Our whole premise every time that we have a runner on is really to work on disrupting his timing, disrupting any time, just kind of keeping him off balance so he doesn't know which way to go, whether he needs to go back to the bag, whether he feels comfortable going to second base. So the first thing we're going to talk about is varying our times to the plate. So what we're going to do is I'll go up top of the mound, we'll talk through it a little bit, is that when we vary time, that what we can do here is every time I come set, and I know a lot of young pitchers, if they're going to pick, they usually come up and down and just pick right away. Okay, so usually that's a big indicator, and every time that I hold the ball, boom, young pitchers really like to hold it for just the same exact amount of time. So I see a lot of kids, and we teach them is they'll come up and go 1/1000 and they'll just pitch to the plate. A good right-handed pitcher is going to know when and how long to hold. So all that time has to vary. So me as a pitcher, I'm going to come up one time, and I'm going to hold. I might hold for 1 second, and then I pitch. The next time I might come up, I might count to myself 1001, 1002, 1003, and then I pitch. The next time around, I come up and hold, and then I'll step off. A move like that, and all three of those are really going to disrupt a good base runner's timing, and if you hold the ball for any length of time, especially a guy that really wants to go, you're going to deaden out his legs. Okay, so then you can step off. It's very good if you can control your balance and your movement on the mound, that you can hold it until somebody calls time, or if there's a point in that time that nobody is, then you can step off. But that's usually a great way to deaden out a fast runner, deaden out his legs.
Alright, welcome to MikeScottBaseball.com. Today's instructional video has to do with the pickoff move. Making a move as a righty from the pitcher's mound to first base. Okay, I'm going to go over some of the basics here in 1 second, but one thing I want to make clear, pickoff moves don't always have to be to get a guy out. Good pickoff moves are used to keep a runner close. This might keep him a half step away from stealing that base, a half step back towards the bag. Maybe he gets a later start when it's a chance to turn two. Okay, all these things come into play with a good pickoff move. Just because you're not getting the guy out does not mean that it's not a good pickoff move. You're just trying to keep them close and just put a little bit of fear in their heads. Okay, especially to the coach on the other team. If you show a good pickoff move, he won't steal as often. Okay, let's go over the basics. Okay, first of all, you got to get in your set position. Okay, from this position, you're getting your signal from your catcher. Okay, you take care of everything from your catcher first before you look at the runner. So you get your signal from your catcher. Next thing that you do is you take a look at your runner. Okay, by taking a look at my runner, I can tell already that that's someone that I think I really should keep close. Okay, whether I try to get him out or not, doesn't really matter. I want to keep him close. So I've made up my mind. I want to try to throw a ball over there. So I come up into the set position. Now, a couple things about this position right here. Okay? You can be squared off towards your target, which means your shoulders line up towards your catcher, or you can be partially open, which means rotating your foot out a little bit. This gives you a little bit quicker start going to first base because your shoulders are already partially turned. The only thing about this, you have to make sure that you close up if you're going to go back home. Okay? But you can definitely be partially open. There's nothing wrong with this. Okay? So you come up into your set position. Now, a couple things. There are 3 types of moves we're going to talk about. A dummy move, your best move, and the quick move. Okay, let's start with the dummy move. The dummy move is meant to look like your best move, but it is not. Okay? With the dummy move, what you're doing is you're taking longer steps. Okay? Your feet are moving in long steps. Okay? Your arm is moving down, back, and making your throw. You're making your arm make long motions. But you're doing all of this at almost full speed. Okay? A dummy move, a lot of people think is just this little soft little move. That's not a dummy move. That's just because you're just throwing a ball over there, you don't like what you see. But to set a guy up for a scary move, you need a dummy move. Now, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to take big steps. Feet, okay, off to the side, long width between my feet. My arm's going to come down. So let me show you a dummy move right here. And the last thing about this is I'm going to throw it hard. Okay, I don't throw over there and throw it soft. I want something to look like my best move, but is not. So I got my signal from my catcher. I look over, I see that that's someone I want to keep closer. Come up into my set position. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move strong here, going to move hard and throw it hard, but everything's going to be long. Now that pop in the glove from a first baseman is very important. When a runner goes back to the bag, he does not go back to the bag watching the ball come. Okay, he goes back to the bag looking at the bag. So if he hears a bam, okay, he knows that maybe that was the best move. Okay, because the guy threw it hard. When you throw a ball soft, it's not the best move. Again, dummy move. Long leg movements, long arm movements, throwing it hard. Got my signal? Check my runner. Up to the set position. It's a good move right there to set a guy up. Now, the quick move. Here we go. I'm sorry, not the quick move, your best move. Okay, quick move is after this. Best move is this. Everything stays the same. You get your signal from your catcher. You look over. You want to keep that guy close. You come to your set position, partially open, okay, to be a little bit quicker over there. Okay, now, everything shortens up. The feet do not take these long moves anymore. The feet, basically, this foot just turns a little bit to the side. This foot does not take a long stride. It just takes a short stride right here, a little bit wider than shoulder width apart. The arms, same thing. Everything shortens up. Now watch this. This is where the ball is. I came up to this position right here. Okay, some guys set low, which makes this a little bit longer. But if you set high right here, as I turn, watch this. The ball's right there. The ball's not even going to move. Feet. There I am in my throwing position. I learned to throw a ball from my ear, basically, to talk about, from right there. This quickens everything up. You go from that dummy move to your best move right there. Right there. Okay, you learn to throw from this position, everything gets quicker. So here's what the best move looks like, okay, at full speed. Okay, get your signal. Look at your runner. Come up to this position. Quick feet, quick hands. Now, if you take a stopwatch to both of those, you will see a definite difference. Okay? It's good to take a stopwatch and take a look and see how quickly you can get a ball over there. Now, last move that we're going to talk about. This one is very effective, especially for guys that like to jump off the base, or they like, as you come up into your set position, a lot of runners will take like an extra half step. They're going towards second. Here's what the quick move looks like. From here, you get your signal. You look over to your catcher, or your first baseman, okay? You decide that you want to get him. Now, if you've already gone over there a couple times and he's still getting back, but he's just barely getting back, one of the ways to still get him or to really scare him is as soon as you get to this point where that front foot lands, when you're coming up into this spot right here, then you turn and you go. Okay? And it's with the quick move again. As you're coming up, if you're in motion and making a turn to first, it's much tougher to pick up than a guy that's at a standstill. Okay? So the quick move is done in motion right as the front foot lands. So here we go. Signal. Look at my runner. Okay, it's a much quicker move to pick up. It's much more difficult because you're in motion. One more time. As soon as the front foot lands, my hands are at the high step position and I just make a turn. Okay. Alright, those are some basics to getting a good pickoff move. One last thing, if you want to try picking a guy off, vary your times over to first base. Now, the more that you hold on to a ball and a guy wants to steal, let's say he has a steal signal, okay? The more you hold on to it, the more a guy will tend to start to itch just a little bit more. Too many guys come right up here and then they just go over. And they come up here and they just go over. If you come up here, let them itch, let them itch, let them start to think about going, and boom, you turn and you go. Okay? Alright, well, thanks for tuning in to MikeScottBaseball.com. Video instruction, this was the pickoff move right here. We'll talk about going to second base some other time, but for today, work on your first base move, work on these 3 moves, and you'll be surprised how often you'll get a pickoff or how often you scare guys away from stealing it all. Okay, thank you very much. Please check back soon for more videos.
Okay, so again, we're going to come up, down, just like we were pitching, back, step, and throw. Okay, this is not a move that you need a tremendous amount of arm strength on. You just need to be able to get yourself re-squared up or your shoulder back pointed towards second base. Okay, the whole move or the whole deception is basically from here to here. Okay, so here we go, a little bit quicker. Up, down, back, and throw. Okay, I get into a move because I've done this long enough that I can get into coming up and down and just getting my balance and throwing. I don't have to put my foot down right away. I would suggest guys early, especially younger guys, even 17, 18, unless they have great control over the balance, is to make sure that they get the step and throw. For me, slight habit, I've been doing this for a while, so I'll get into a bit of a longer stride, get up, down, and throw. Okay, so go up, down, throw. So we'll go a little quicker, add a little head action to it. We're moving ourselves around the horn. We're going to move ourselves now to third base. What I would challenge the left-handers to do is kind of look like they're looking in a mirror right now, as this was a first base move. What we're going to do here is that we're going to work on our angles here. I've got a line that's approximately 45 degrees, which is technically not a rule in the rule book. There is no such thing as a 45-degree angle, but you'll often get many umpires say, hey, he went past 45. And in a sense, it's a bit of a judgment on with the rule. The rule is on momentum. So if my momentum is carrying myself towards home, I can't throw back to third base, or vice versa on the other side with first base. I can't go home and then pick to first base. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to give you 3 levels of this pickoff, and they're more of a setup, and there's a couple different phases. So the first part I'm going to work on just basic straight on and give you head movement, that type of thing. As a pitcher, normally when I'm pitching home, I watch my base runner as long as I can. Last minute, I pick up the plate. There's a big, I'm not sure exactly what it is, but there's this big thought that we are deceiving a runner by giving a big look home, or a big, almost like I call it, a big fake home. So what we're trying to do here is the first one, which I'll call, say, our C move, is that we're going to look away early. So when I pick, I'm going to step directly at third base, and then I'm going to look away early. Okay, so big fake, step, and throw. And every time I want to make sure when I finish, I'm just going to come and walk myself right to the bag. Okay, so if you watch here in our balance point, the same thing, exactly as we were. Another crucial reason why we work on our balance stage is we're here right in the balance stage, look away, come back, and throw.